Thank you, Ranking Member Graves.
Oh, a former member of this committee.
I
We
know,
miss you.
Mr. Chairman,
Look
I
at
was
this
gonna
new
start out
room.
by saying I'm very homesick. And while I'm very, very pleased to serve on appropriations now, I miss you, and it's great to see the freshmen in the front row here. And so it's good to be back here. So thank you for the opportunity. What I'd like to do is summarize and submit for the record a document outlining what I believe any infrastructure proposal should include, particularly to address the needs of small towns and rural America. But before I dive in, what I'd like to note is that this document that I will submit for the record, I initially presented to the White House back in 2017. I was invited to go over there. I was one of 5 members at the time. It was bipartisan and laid out really kind of the needs in rural America. But I bring that up because I think it emphasizes the importance of bipartisanship, and I know you understand that, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Ranking Member, the importance of that. The country that we are fortunate enough to live in, as we look at a major investment in our infrastructure going forward, I think we need to look at 3 main things. First, we need to make sure that we direct federal investment to the areas with demonstrated need. Number 2, it should strengthen programs and target support, like I mentioned earlier, for rural America and small towns. It is very, very important to me, and I know to some folks here. I'm looking at Abby Finkenauer sitting right in front of me. We share the Mississippi River, and so I really, really hope that we can focus on rural America. Third, I think it should maintain and expand policies like Buy American and Davis-Bacon provisions, and I know also, Mr. Chairman, how critical that is to you. So I want to take a look at things that are very, very important in the neck of the woods that I'm fortunate enough to represent. The congressional district, the 17th Congressional District of Illinois, again, Congresswoman Finkenauer and I share the Mississippi River, but in my district, we have 9 locks and dams in the upper Mississippi and Illinois rivers that are just in my congressional district alone. If we have one single lock that goes down, literally, it puts a dead stop to the navigation of our goods that cross the Mississippi River or the Illinois River in my case. So we literally have 60% of the nation's grain exports go along these locks and dams in the congressional district I serve. So even knowing that, we have $8.75 billion in backlog needs along the upper Mississippi. We need to expand these from 600 feet to 1,200 feet. It's critical for the movement of goods as we go forward, and I would ask the committee to consider that. A couple other points that I'd like to make is let's take a look at freight traffic on roads and make sure that we look at the sustainable funding source for the Highway Trust Fund. Again, Mr. Chairman, I know that's very, very important to you. If we look at rural roads across the country, 35% of them are rated either poor or in mediocre condition. So I'm hoping that's part of what you'll consider. Additionally, an efficient rail network is important for the transport of goods through rural areas, and also passenger rail. We've got an Amtrak route from Chicago to Moline, Illinois. I'm hoping that eventually that will be able to go into Iowa as well, but we need to have a willing partner. But for right now, that's something where we've got some federal funds set aside. I want to make sure that we follow through with that. Lastly, our nation's airports. We've got the smaller airports that serve regions like mine. Want to make sure that our airports serving these smaller communities are addressed along with the aging air traffic control towers. And I know that this falls outside this committee, but I want to make mention of a comprehensive package that I hope will include investment in education, healthcare, energy, and broadband. You know, I think we're fortunate enough that we had our parents' generation that knew the importance of investing in infrastructure. I know that the leadership of this committee understands the need for future investment. And with that, I'm happy to, I've got 30 seconds if you want me to answer any questions. Otherwise, I will yield back those 30 seconds of my time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I thank